When you were born, you rolled the genetic lottery to see what your face would look like, what colour your hair would be, whether or not you would be tall enough to play in the NBA, and so on. Unbeknownst to you, you were also rolling to see if you would be born with some very unique genetic traits that I'll be discussing in this video.
Amazing!
Number 10. Short sleepers. You probably know someone who enjoys talking about just how little sleep they need to go about their day. This person probably annoys you, as they annoy us all. But scientists have discovered that this annoying person may not be lying and may have a genetic condition. Known to scientists as short sleepers, these individuals require only 4 hours of sleep a night to stay healthy and maintain their typical levels of energy. Perhaps a better understanding of this mutation in the future will allow doctors to assist those with insomnia and other sleep disorders. Number 9. Unbreakable Bones. The LRP5 gene is responsible for regulating mineral bone density, which doesn't sound very exciting. Mutations in this gene can be responsible for a variety of illnesses, such as juvenile primary osteoporosis and osteoporosis pseudoglioma syndrome, both of which leave you with very brittle and weak bones. However, mutations on this very same gene can also give you bones that are virtually unbreakable. In theory, people with this condition could even get into a car accident and come out with a fully intact skeleton. Scientists are currently researching this gene for potential cures for those who suffer from problems on the not X-Men-ish side of the spectrum. Number 8. Extra nipple. Much more common than having an extra rib inside of you is having an extra nipple on the outside of you, something that a surprising 1 in every 18 people possess. These supernumerary nipples, also known as third nipples, triple nipples, accessory nipples, or, more boringly, polythelia, can vary in size from something that can be easily mistaken for a run-of-the-mill mole to an entire third breast that can actually bear milk. The majority of extra nipples can be found along the milk line, which begins at the armpits and run down one side. But in some cases, they can even appear on a person's feet. With this knowledge in hand, perhaps you ought to go and perform a few thorough searches to make sure you haven't been secretly harbouring some supernumerary nipples unknowingly. Number 7. Seeing a greater spectrum of colour. Most people would agree that women tend to have a better eye for colour. If you don't believe me, simply try and name as many colours as you can, and then ask a woman to do the same thing, and listen as you learn about 10 more types of red you are unaware of. Scientists have discovered that there is a genetic component to this. 12% of women have a sort of vision that allows them to see a greater spectrum of colour than other human beings. The reason that only women can achieve this new level of colour identification is that the mutation that allows for it can only be found in the X chromosome, and it takes 2 for the noticeable shift in colour perception to occur. Scientists have given this rare trait the name of tetrachromacy. Number 6. Double eyelashes. Elizabeth Taylor, star of classic Hollywood in days gone by, was known for her particularly stunning eyes and eyelashes. Was she just really good at putting on mascara? No. Elizabeth Taylor had a rare condition known as distichiasis, a mutation that causes one to grow 2 complete rows of eyelashes rather than the usual one. Because dark, full eyelashes are seen as attractive by many, one might initially wish they had this mutation. However, as is typical in nature, most mutations don't work out for the better, and people with this condition can suffer from corneal scratching, which means it just scratches your eye. So, would you prefer beautiful natural eyelashes, or eyes that won't get scratched by hairs growing out of your skin? The choice isn't yours anyways, but don't worry about it too much. Number 5. Supertasters. If you're still annoyed that you don't have double eyelashes, there's a much higher chance, a 12% chance in fact, that you are a supertaster. Supertasters are people who experience taste with a much greater intensity than average. The upside of being a supertaster is that you get to enjoy your food in a unique way. In a sense, you're eating in an IMAX 3D while everyone else is eating on their TVs at home. The upside of being a supertaster in primitive hunter-gatherer times, however, was much greater. Scientists theorise that supertasters' increased sensitivity to bitterness may have helped them avoid accidentally eating poisonous substances in their environments. Number 4. Super smellers. Along with supertasters come super smellers, or more scientifically, people with hyperosmia. These human bloodhounds have a heightened sense of smell due to them having a lower threshold for odour. To understand, imagine the nose as a door. Strong smells are like adults who can simply open the door and walk right in. Weak smells are like those little kids that can barely even reach the door handle, so they might only be able to open the door a little bit, or not at all. People with hyperosmia have revolving door noses that just about anything can get into. Tests are currently being performed by scientists to see if hyperosmia can be environmentally induced. So if you're not a super smeller right now, there may just be hope for you yet. Number 3. HIV Resistance. HIV infects the body by invading cells via protein receptors called CD4 receptors. These receptors are important for the proper function of your immune system, so when they get destroyed, your body is at a major risk. HIV doesn't do this alone, however. It needs a man on the inside called CCR5, a co-receptor. This double crosser is what makes HIV such a serious concern. 20% of Caucasians, however, have CCR5 delta 32 rather than CCR5. And this CCR5 delta 32 won't stab you in the back and let HIV in, granting you what can be described as a moderate level of immunity to HIV. If you have 2 copies of this mutation, you are virtually completely immune. However, this occurs in only 1% of Caucasians. Probably not best to roll the dice on this one, as the odds aren't exactly in your favour. Number 2. Tiny ear holes. In the United Kingdom, just under 1% of the population is born with tiny holes situated just above the ear. In the United States, it's even rarer than that. The holes, which are called a preauricular sinus in the medical world, were discovered by a scientist named Van Huysinger in 1864. There's no scientific consensus currently as to what could be the cause, but some think that it could be some sort of evolutionary remnant related to gills that our ancestors may have needed. However, since we all walk around on the surface where there is abundant oxygen that we can draw out of the air with our lungs, these tiny holes are quite useless. They serve no function, so you shouldn't be excited or worried if you've just now realised that you happen to have a pair. Number 1. Extra ribs. Roughly 1 in every 200 people are born with an extra pair of ribs, on top of the standard issue 12 pairs that your average human uses to keep all their organs in their body. Technically known as a cervical rib, it's usually situated around your back, where this bonus bone connects to the 7th cervical vertebrae in your neck, and around the front it can either be connected to your first rib by a band of sturdy, fibrous tissue, or be left to float freely. Unlike ear holes, an extra rib is not entirely benign. Having a cervical rib can lead to thoracic outlet syndrome, which is a condition in which an unnecessary rib leads to compression that can cause pins and needles on the affected side. In what ways are you genetically rare? Do you or someone you know possess any of these unique traits? Let us know in the comment section below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to drop it a like, and subscribe clicking that bell icon to never miss a new video. Thanks for watching.